We begin today with news in St. Louis, Missouri, where peaceful protests turned violent over the weekend. Many took to the streets after a judge found former officer Jason Stockley not guilty in the 2011 death of Anthony Lamar Smith. Stockley was charged with murder just last year. That's 5 years after the shooting took place. And since 2014, Stockley has left his post with the St. Louis Police Department and has been living in Houston. Well, this comes 3 years after Darren Wilson, a former officer in Ferguson, just north of St. Louis, was acquitted for shooting and killing unarmed teen Michael Brown in August of 2014. Wilson's acquittal led to the violent protests all over the city, and some believe the St. Louis protests will come close to those that we saw in Ferguson. Let's go live now to Ashley Banks in the newsroom. So, Ashley, what's the latest?
Well, today marks the fourth day of protests in St. Louis, Missouri. This morning, more than 100 people locked arms and marched silently on Market Street, located in the downtown area of the city, to protest the acquittal of former police officer Jason Stockley. Stockley tried to arrest Smith on a suspected drug deal. Smith decided to flee, and while doing so, hit a police car with his vehicle. A high-speed chase then ensued. When police caught up with Smith, Stockley says he felt in danger because he saw Smith holding a silver revolver. Prosecutors believe Smith was unarmed and that Stockley planted a gun in Smith's car because Stockley's DNA was the only DNA found on the gun. And just 5 minutes before Stockley shot Smith, he said to his partner that he would shoot him. Since Friday, residents have been protesting Stockley's acquittal, saying he is responsible for Smith's death. According to authorities, protests in St. Louis are pretty peaceful during the day and become destructive at night. St. Louis, Missouri Interim Police Chief Lawrence O'Toole spoke during a press conference earlier this morning, saying, quote, "We are in control. This is our city, and we're going to protect it." Earlier Sunday, more than 1,000 people gathered at police headquarters without incident. However, Sunday night, things turned violent. Most of the protesters from earlier had gone home, leaving around 100 demonstrators who decided to march back toward downtown, knocking over planters, breaking windows at stores and hotels, and scattering plastic chairs at an outdoor venue. Authorities say police made calls for protesters to disperse. Some didn't listen, and as a result, more than 80 people were arrested. And on Friday, 1,000 protesters paid a visit to St. Louis Mayor Lyda Crewson's home, throwing rocks and breaking windows. They were met with 200 police in riot gear who used tear gas to disperse them. Over the weekend, at least 10 police officers suffered injuries. Many protesters are arguing police are provoking them by showing up in riot gear and armored vehicles. And police argue they have no choice but to protect themselves. Authorities are gearing up in anticipation for more protests. For the time being, at least one protest is scheduled for this evening in University City. Natasha.
All right, that's RT correspondent Ashley Banks live from our newsroom. Ashley, thank you.